Hi, folks. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media. This is the RTD edition of Sipping Off the Cuff. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Jim Johnston in Youngstown, Ohio.
hiding in his basement in Youngstown, Ohio.
Hiding from, yes, responsibility.
Yeah, but you know what? It's his own basement now. It's the Ohio man cave. So today, when I mentioned RTD, that is called ready to drink. That is a burgeoning category that exploded in 2020 and just continues to grow. And we are tasting and dissecting Onda, which, if you haven't caught the first review we did on the lime RTD, this is the grapefruit. So what they're calling it, right? Tequila.
Yes.
It's sparkling tequila grapefruit.
They're not really given any of these fancy names. They're just, if it's grapefruit, it's grapefruit. Watermelon is watermelon. Pineapple is pineapple.
Lime
it's not,
is lime. Yeah.
They're not trying to pass this off as a Paloma.
No. And you know what? We fell over ourselves with the lime version. It's got to be for us. And Jim and I have had several of these now under our belt for the last 3 years now. Since they've been coming, to us, submitting to us, sipping off the cuff. We've had some dogs. We've had some that were kind of, iffy. But as usual, we're drinking this at room temp first to see what the recipe's like with that base recipe. And then we're going to drink it chilled just as you would at home. And so you're going to hear us geeking out on some recipes. But we were as impressed as hell over the line version of Onda.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
This, let me pop this baby open on over here. And it is carbonated, so be careful with it, folks. Keep it away from your keyboard. All right, if you do not attempt this at home, we are professionals. So, oh, wow, it's the fresh tree again, man.
I thought the lime smelled like lime. This smells like a cut grapefruit.
Yeah. Now, not a ruby red grapefruit, because they actually have one. That they have that will be one of the last flavors that we do. This is just a plain grapefruit. Nothing wrong with that. What a great nose.
Wow. This is a real fruit smell.
Yes.
This is as close to just me slicing one open, and sometimes you have a half a grapefruit with a little bit of sugar sprinkled on it for some breakfast, and this is cut open grapefruit.
Yeah.
It's a fresh fruit smell.
If you watch the lime review, I said, this smells like I just pulled it from the tree. I have an orange lemon tree in the backyard here. It's been there for years. And as kids, we used to pull the leaves off and rub them on our hands, because that's the lemon oil, orange oil. And that's what this smells like. It smells like grapefruit oil, like it's all like you've got leaves in your hand.
That is nice.
That's beautiful. I'm going to pour it here in my rocks glass, in my Dodgers rocks glass.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Some of us don't have the salary cap.
See, I've got it. Mine actually says LA on the bottom, folks. Yeah, that was a Christmas gift from my sister. Thank you, sis. But it's a great rocks glass, and again, take a look. If you can see that beyond the design here, it's still a bit murky, and it's got a slight color to it. It's the juice,
a bit of that grapefruit soda, kind of squirt fresca-ish kind of,
but not as sweet. It squirt, coarse artificial flavors, fresca, classic artificial flavor, but
this smells so clean and nice. I've never had a natural fruit smell off of anything carbonated like this before.
We were talking off camera, Jim and I, and about the lime review, and we said, if I was out barbecuing, I would sip on this, not a problem. He goes, I might even add another like half shot. And you said tres agaves or another
Tromba, maybe.
Which one?
Tromba, maybe.
Tromba. Yeah, and just enough to give it, light it up a little bit more, and done. Because there is 100% agave tequila. They do have a NOM number on this can. Okay, we'll give you that, the ins and outs on that in a second. But And I don't like grapefruit. I'm not a big grapefruit guy unless it's like, in a Paloma or something. This is Paloma. This is not a Paloma. But this just smells good. It just smells
Yeah.
refreshing.
Yeah. And I love, I like Fresca and Squirt as a soda. That's kind of my go-to. I like that kind of bright citrus flavor. So this smells phenomenal,
The
though.
one thing I've never had it in was a Jarritos. I know Jarritos is now not even Mexican anymore. It's been bought by somebody else. But I have not had their grapefruit version of anything. So I'm not even familiar with any of their line. So if Jarritos would like to send us the line, we have plenty of tequila to make it with. So I'm going to dive in. I'm like so ready to dive in on this. You know what? It's just a bitter aftertaste that you expect with the grapefruit, but then the tequila takes over, and it's gone.
It's that little bridge of, there's the tart bitterness of the grapefruit, but the tequila and the carbonation add that little, and it's not sweetness. I don't know how to describe it. It's not sugary sweetness.
No,
Just
it's like an agave sweetness. And then it. I gotta say, this is well balanced. This is so well balanced because that's the reason I don't like grapefruit, because in the old days, grapefruit juice used to come in a little can like this. Tree Sweet used to make them. Remember those? And they were just bitter. You really had to have a love for that bitter Tree Sweet grapefruit juice. And this has got the natural bitterness. It's just natural bitterness. And I will say that in some countries, like Latin American countries, Mexico, they'll counterbalance either the sweetness or the bitterness with salt. And we'll do it in our drinks too. There's no salt in this at all.
No. And honestly, this grapefruit is the cleanest, closest to the actual taking a bite of the fruit flavor I've ever had in an RTD so far.
Yeah, I agree. This is outstanding. This is outstanding, and it's natural. It's just no
carbs, 100 calories, no sugar, and honestly, I'm surprised that they've achieved the fruit quality of the flavor that they have without any sugar, because typically when you use a citrus like this, it's not sweetened, it gets bitter or tart. And this is tart and bitter, exactly how it should be for a grapefruit.
Yeah.
Like if you took a slice of a grapefruit and ate it. This is not, it's been, this doesn't need adulterated, and it's not, but it's so clean and balanced all the way through.
Yeah.
I honestly think, we drink this because it's got agave spirit in it. It's got tequila in it. But I don't think the tequila is supposed to come through on this. I think the tequila is just supposed to balance that citrus in the seltzer and make it a nice, refreshing, clean, easy to drink, 5%, ABV RTD. It's really well done.
Yeah, I'm so impressed by, and this is at room temp. And again, the reason we do this at room temperature is because as what happens in life, you're at a barbecue, you're not going to pound a 12-ounce can, right? And eventually, if it's summertime or early spring, late spring, it's going to get warm, right? How's it going to taste when it's warm? Is it still going to be inviting? And I got to say, the RTDs that we're getting across here, sipping off the cuff, are better on the nose and better on the flavor. They're really the recipe. The competition is getting tougher because they're upping their game. There are people who are still slapping a label on something to get a piece of that White Claw, chunk of the pie. And there are other ones who are coming across with some great recipes. Some of them are organic, listed as organic, and some of them are just this.
Yeah, wow. These are phenomenal.
We're gonna pause our recording. I'm gonna go run up and grab a chilled one. We'll be right back. So we're back. I have a chilled one, a chilled Onda grapefruit. All right. So we're gonna taste this one. cold, as you would in a picnic, at a tailgate party, at a friend's house, or in your basement, in your brand new basement.
Not a bad place to be.
No, that's the I told him that's the Ohio man cave.
This aesthetic will change shortly, but it's good for what we're doing today.
Oh yeah, that's fine, because it isn't about us.
Laid back, it's good.
That's the worst Zoom background I've ever seen, man. So
Rate My Room is gonna kill me.
Yeah, well, we just poured this one, and again in my Dodgers rocks glass. You'll excuse me if I use my broadcasting voice. Now the chilled, the grapefruit's nose is a bit muted.
Yeah, right. It's
Calm
still there, and it still smells very similar to what it did prior. It's a natural flavor, but it's just, I think the cold takes down that carbonation a little bit. And
Yep. I mean, that's expected.
Yeah. No, it is.
And there's not much in the way of bouquet or aroma. There are not too many layers. It's just pretty straightforward. So, once you know,
Smells like a grapefruit.
Smells like a grapefruit. If you were nosing a grapefruit before you picked it from the store or whatever, that's what it smells like. Or a bag of, grapefruit. There's that, but at the bottom, there's an underlying sweetness. I'm really thinking that's a tequila and the soda playing with each other.
I think so. I think so. Just a touch. Just a touch.
It's like right at the bottom in the center of the glass. And we're using a rocks glass. For those of you who are watching or listening to us on Spotify or iTunes, I poured mine in a rocks glass. Jim has his in like a stemless kind of pseudo wine glass. It's like a tumbler. It looks like a tumbler.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive in. Let's see how the flavor goes now. Wow.
The only thing that's been added to this is that it's cold.
Yeah.
It's still a clean, balanced fruit flavor with just enough of a natural sweetness to carry it the whole way. Carbonation's still good. It's just cold.
Well, what I noticed was on the back of my tongue, in the rear of the palate, the bitterness was there a little bit longer. It lingered, but still it disappeared. I mean, it's palatable. When I say bitterness, it's not off-putting. It's not,
it's intended bitterness. I mean, it's grapefruit.
Yeah.
Grapefruits are not oranges. They're not yet. They're supposed to have that little bit. But I think the cold seltzer gives it a little bit more of a pop when it's chilled.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the bitterness kind of comes into play now, and again, you're expecting it's a grapefruit. Okay, it's not like the old grapefruit juices that we had when we were kids growing up. That stuff was just nasty. It was like biting into an aspirin. It was that bitter.
No, I mean, just like I said with the lime, if you took a really high end seltzer or club soda and squeezed a slice of grapefruit in this, it's just like that. There's a natural juice flavor to it, but it's very balanced, and the chilled seltzer gives it a little bit more pop on this flavor, a little more so than the lime, I think. But
yes, I believe
the bitterness the bitterness here is not a bad bitter in any way.
No.
It is and it works with the seltzer. It works well.
What now? Previously in the first review, I said it's almost like a tonic. And this one is, again, it's almost like a tonic.
Yeah, it's closer with the bitterness gives it almost that quinine kind of tonic. But honestly, I would probably put a half shot in this just to spice it up a little bit if I were going to pour it into a glass. But out of the cooler in this can, just drinking it cold, wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed by this.
I am too. I'm going to go again, Brand of Promise nominee in that,
absolutely,
in the RTD category. 100% agave tequila. Let's read you some of the stuff they say on the can here. It is 100% agave tequila coming from Casa Maestri, which is number. Why is this tough to read because it's orange
1438.
Yeah, it's 1438. It is a female-owned distillery, and apparently, repeat the story you were telling me on the lime. There's a
My
female.
wife is aware of, I believe, an actress, Shay Mitchell, who was in a show called Pretty Little Liars, has been in some other things, and has a very well done line of travel gear, bags, that kind of thing. Is a part owner or an investor in this. So when I unloaded this from the package and put it out on the bar, for the first time probably ever that I've been affiliated with Tequila Aficionado, she was like, "Oh, I know that." And I was like, "How do you know this? I just got this and get anything in Ohio." She's like, "No, I know that. That's Shay Mitchell stuff." And she's like, "She makes good bags." I was like, "Well, let's see if she makes good RTDs." She does.
Apparently she does, and they have just launched another set of flavors. I think I pulled up their press release. They launched 4 packs of mango and pineapple flavors. That just happened. I don't know. It says Onda Tequila Seltzer launches 4 packs of mango and pineapple. They may have already a passion fruit, but I mean, I'll take them all.
Yeah.
The other thing too is what I know about them is that they recently, or within this year, hired a former officer in the Cutwater company. Cutwater is a distiller in San Diego that Jim and I have had. One of the best RTDs cocktails we've ever had was their Cutwater Mango. But that's at 15 ABV. That one gave you a buzz.
This is a nice low key 5%.
Yeah.
This is something you can easily have a couple of on a warm afternoon, be totally fine.
Yeah, this is the style of what the ranch water is supposed to be. That's popular in Texas and Austin and made popular there. But this to me, this is kind of, maybe they should call them tonics or something, because they really there's just something healthy about the whole thing, about this.
This is probably the best expression of the fruit flavor I've ever had, and not just in an RTD. This is the best expression of a real fruit flavor I've had in any kind of carbonated beverage. I've always had a little bit of, there's a fake or a little bit of the citric acid is too much because they try to really impart that flavor. This is the cleanest natural flavor on any carbonated beverage I've ever had. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, this is by far, it's got to be one of the best ones that you and I have had. We've had several together.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. This is gonna score well in our Brands of Promise. What again, if you look at the color scheme too, and I nominated it for the packaging because it's so simple. And I mean, it is kind of tough to read, the pink on the orange, but that's on purpose. That's supposed to happen.
The handwriting is the color of the fruit.
Yeah. And
the lime was bright green. The grapefruit is pink.
Yeah. And
the blood orange is orange.
Yeah. The other two flavors, and it's all uniform. I mean, it's really simple. There's this elegance in their simplicity that, but even then, even the recipe is simple, but you and I have had enough of these, and me and the other TJs have had plenty since then, since 2020, that we've seen some real dogs come through. Some people are just slapping labels on something, and then but lately there's been a real concerted effort by a lot of brand owners who are coming up with RTDs where the recipe's got to make a difference. The ingredients have to be right. And then the recipe, you can have all the right ingredients and your recipe is not good. Like I said before, some of the ones we've had maybe a little too salted. There's no salt in either one of these at all.
No, and I got to say, this recipe kind of sets a bar for me because it's got all the flavor that you want out of something like this. There's no sugar. That doesn't look like there's additives. They were able to achieve something with just a very straightforward. We have fruit, we have tequila, we have carbonation. They executed well.
Yeah, they did. They did. Brand of Promise nominee in that RTD 100% tequila category. That's our take, folks. If you have been, if you've had Onda before, tell us in the comments below what you're doing with it, what you're paying for it, where you're getting it. if you like it, are you spiking it with something else, a little higher? That's
You don't
cool
have to.
too. You could, but
You could.
really,
I will, but you don't have to.
yeah, you don't have to. And even then, Jim would probably not take a tequila with so much character that it would overpower this recipe, because this is really subtle. This is really a well balanced recipe, whether at room temperature or chilled. And Eric Zandona, our other TJ in Florida, he gave us a great a serving suggestion. He says some of these recipes you have to be careful with. You can't. I wouldn't put them over ice, because once that dilutes, once the ice melts, it dilutes the recipe. And I think that would be the case here with this one, because the recipes are so well balanced at a chilled level and at room temp, that if you put it over a block of ice or something, that by the time you get around
if you get some ice that's going to dilute that down, that takes that balance away, I think.
Yeah.
So out of a cooler though, or out of a fridge, absolutely.
Oh yeah, all day long. Just keep pouring, just keep reaching for it. What did we say the price point was on something like this again?
Looks like an 8-pack's going for about $14.99, anywhere from $14 to $18, depending on the packaging and where you get it from. Obviously, I'm online, so there's a delivery fee on Drizzly, but it looks like you're going to get about 8 of these for about $2 a can, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on where you get it from.
$16 for some solid RTDs all day.
Absolutely,
all day long. Anyway, folks, that's our take on Onda. That is Onda Grapefruit. Stick with us, because we'll eventually have the rest of the line. But that's what you're watching right now. That's what we're tasting right now. If you've had it before, leave us a comment if you're watching us on YouTube. Hey, by the way, if you're on YouTube, hit the notification bell. Give us a like. That does help us with the algorithm. Share it. Don't forget to share. Follow us on Instagram, Tequila Aficionado. You can follow Jim on his Instagram as well. What's that handle again, Jim?
It's 1984. The 9, 8, and 4 are numbers. Teen is spelled out.
1984.
Almost kind of like the year I was born, and a little bit of George Orwell.
A little bit of George Orwell, yeah.
Right.
So, and don't forget, folks, whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.